Thank you very much, Rob. And moving swiftly on, what a great result. Obviously, commiserations, Mike, to Crivelli there, Franco Crivelli. Not quite sure what the issue was, but we saw him very dejectedly sort of cruising back to the pit lane in his car, whether it was a contact issue, whether it was a pushback issue, whether there was some other form of issue that we're not aware of, but commiserations to him. But a great race. And I think we got another great race coming right up, because it is time when they clear the circuit. If that wasn't enough for you, ladies and gentlemen, we have got KA Senior on its way now. And, we've got some of the superstars of yesteryear in KA Masters, the last race. This next race, it's going to be one of the superstars of the future leading them away, Ernesto Rivera. There he is on your screen. First time out as a senior, and this could be one of his swan songs in karting. He will embark on a single-seater Formula 4 career in Spain. There is the driver that will try, the first driver that will try to dethrone Rivera. That's Chase Jones, the MPG Motorsport Kart out of the Midwest. There is Donovan Bonilla in Kart 980. He will go off from P3, the inside of the next row. That's the number 956, Oliver Calvo, a driver that we've hardly mentioned. He has been quietly going about his business. Could he be a dark horse? Further back, there's the 910 Kart, Brandon Lemke. There are a whole host of potential winners starting deep, and I mean deep, Mariana Trench deep in the field that could win. There is one of them, the 990 Kart Fast, Frankie Mossman. He rolls off P22. He's going to have to live up to his nickname, is the driver from Newport Beach, California. There's another driver, Dalton Haynes. A big thumbs up from the Kart Republic TKG racing driver. The wind, Mike Smith, is picking up again. We had it on the first day of qualifying. The wind is blowing from the same direction. It's going to be behind the drivers, giving them a little bit of extra speed down the main straight. It's blowing right into our faces here. So at home watching, if you can hear the wind buffering on the microphones a little bit, then please forgive us. And what about this guy, Oliver Hodgson, Kings Lynn's own Oliver Hodgson, 34th on the grid. He's doing double duty. We're going to see him a lot further up in X30 Pro. But as things stand, watch out for the driver from the same small Cambridgeshire town in England as George Russell. But he emulate Russell by becoming a Supernats winner there. There is the 905 car. That is Alex Stanfield on the Gillard. It's his first time here, and I bumped into Alex's mum last night, who said that she's really, really proud of the way that Alex is driving. Another driver, hey, we could have a winner here from any one of the top 10, 12 rows of the grid, even more. Depends how they get away. How do they race? There's another potential winner, the 976, Harley Keeble, Grimsby's #1 sportsman, I can say. The Sodi USA driver, Bertrand Pignolet from Sodi Kart is here. The Sodi USA karts look absolutely superb. There's that the French flair and then the stars and stripes. A really good marriage of a graphics keyboard. Just having a little look down there. Let's check. Is it all both together? Am I looking good on camera? Well, you're looking good on both cameras. The one on your kart and the kart chaser one that is going to watch you roll off here very, very shortly. Oh, Dalton Haynes. Mike, this is going to be a tough one to keep track of, because you're going to have the front runners and then you're going to have the top stars starting deep in the field coming through.
Absolutely. You're going to have all kinds of action going on with the drivers who are further back from issues earlier in the week. And I'll tell you right now, you mentioned it in that little opening, the wind has picked up. The wind did not exist during Masters. And so for the drivers on the grid and rolling out right now in Senior, in KA Senior, everything they've got is set up for what we've had the last couple of days with no wind. Now the wind is there. Will that change in the gearing department a little bit down the straightaway? I'm sure we'll see a little bit more speed come down in turn number 1.
You can see the multitude of flags here that represent the drivers that are racing this weekend, blowing. They're giving it back winds down the main straight. Ernesto Rivera and Chase Jones will go from row number 1. Donovan Bonilla and Chase Hand go from row 2. Oliver Calvo, Paulie Massimino, Aidan Rudolph, Colin Lloyd, Peyton Phillips and Jesus Vasquez Jr. round out your top 10. Row number 6, 2 potential winners there. Fernando Luque and Brandon Lemke. Caleb Gafara in the newly liveried Leading Edge Motorsport Kart. He shares row number 7 with Connor Ferris. Race Liberante and Nate Cicero are up next.
Ethan Lampe will be there on the inside of row number 9 alongside Alexander Kardashian, then John Burke and Dustin Salavery at the end.
The Tesoro Raceworks car of John Burke there rounding out your top 20 on row number 11. Okay, you can still pick a winner from the next bunch of drivers. Blake Nash and Frankie Mossman, P21-22. Christian Miles and Donald Haynes go from row number 12. Pick a winner, Josh Campbell, Harley Keeble,
Big
row
guns.
13.
Yeah.
And Brandon Carr starts on row 14. Oh, no, that's one of the Sony cards. Can't quite see a number.
Is that
it's
Keeble?
No, it's 912. Oh, Vinny Mascalis.
Yeah, tough one for Vinny Mascalis, guys. Out on the opening lap, you do all that work. And to go out on the opening circuit, and especially a category where you have had to race your way in, like the one here in KA100 Senior. But again, time to go racing as the drivers will dial things in here. Once again, looking forward to this one. It's going to be a heck of a battle up front between these drivers here. As we know, Ernesto Rivera, Chase Jones, both these drivers have been incredibly good throughout the entire week. Donovan Bonilla's been strong as well. Chase Hand, for me, has been that guy that's just never stopped. He's kept digging. It hasn't been perfect, but they put together 3 great races, and Chase finds himself on the outside of row number 2. Field now set, and look at these drivers just dialing things in. The young Rivera only turning to the senior categories in October, and he finds himself on the pole for KA100 Senior at SuperNats 26. Field getting set to go, and we will light them up here momentarily. They'll work their way into this end part of the straightaway. Our flagman waiting, and the green flag is there. Green, 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 racing down into turn number 1.
It's a good start from Rivera. He covers off the field. Now his rivals need to organize themselves and do it quickly to prevent Rivera from setting sail in the desert.
Indeed, getting things underway through 3 and 4 for the first time, just like we saw in KA100 Master. Rawlson Performance Group 1-2 up front as the drivers are all settling in here now. Donovan Bonilla with a solid start as well. He gets himself into the fight. Everybody else going to lock it in. Chase Jones goes into P3, and again, everybody else settling in right now. Again, the opening lap coming in. We'll look to give you the top 10 as they work their way around. Easy opportunities to make some passes when things get pretty crazy on the opening lap, but do not take yourself out or you'll end Super Sunday quickly. Rivera, Bonilla, Jones, Paulie Massimino up a couple spots into 4th. Chase Hand 5th. Oliver Calvo in the 6th spot. Race Liberante up 8 positions. He is making some big moves right now, right in front of Peyton Phillips. Brandon Lemke 9th, Colin Lloyd in 10th. I don't know if you saw it or not, Mike, but Liberante had them all pushing him through turn number 1. He was able to get that thing woed up and cranked around. What a great start for Race Liberante.
You had talked about lots of areas to pass on the opening lap, and they're kind of right there for the taking, but we actually didn't see any passing in about the front 8.
Again, 42 drivers. We would have 43, sadly, no longer Mascalis in the race. 42 drivers all behaving themselves, and that's going to be a problem for these superstars down at the back there. Hodgson, Carr, Keeble, Haynes, Mossman. They were the ones that were banking on a couple of issues for others in front to give them that first lap boost. Now things will start spreading out a little bit more. It'll make that every move a little bit harder to pick up a place.
Indeed, drivers settling in. Chase Jones making the move. He works his way into the 2nd spot. Jones making that move to the inside of Donovan Bonilla. We'll keep an eye on Race Liberante to see if he's able to keep coming up. Yes, about 4/10 quicker than Oliver Calvo, so he's closing up on that driver in 6th. But Rivera, very impressive out front right now. Mike, listen, you've coached a lot of guys. You've driven a lot yourself. How impressive is this young kid, junior, all the way up to October? His first he won X30 Junior here last year. So poised up front.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing is the poise, as you say, the patience, and actually also how he races with the other seniors. How many times we've seen a really fast junior come up and there's zero respect given? He's gotten a lot of respect because I think that's the way he's racing everybody else.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you don't give respect, you're not going to get respect, especially when you're racing against the senior guys, because they expect you to come in there and show them the respect that has been earned by them over many years running in that category. Rivera's not been that guy who's roughed anybody up. He's made real good moves every time an overtake has come. It has been precise. It has been deliberate. It hasn't been kind of a haymaker thrown in there. This is the guy that makes really clean passes, and Rivera getting into work right now. And again, this is what we talked about. He's starting to pull away. This is that early couple of laps when the drivers can stretch out.
Okay, behind the leaders, Dalton Haynes has had a problem. He has dropped to the back of the field. Likewise, Brandon Carr has lost ground. However, Oliver Hodgson from 34th in the grid is already up to 23rd. Keeble up into 21st. Mossman up 4 places to 18th position, but they're falling back. They're 10 seconds behind the leaders already, and Brandon Lemke just goes purple. Fastest lap for Brandon Lemke in 8th place.
When you could talk about Brandon Lemke going to be in the conversation here real quick is on screen we had a pass. That was Chase Hand moving up there past Bonilla. So Hand making moves. These drivers aren't pulling away at the front. Even though they were being patient, they're actually not getting away from the rest of the group. We got drivers all the way back to, looks like 8 that are still inside 2 seconds.
Early on in the days here right now for the drivers here in KA100 Senior. And I'm a big fan of MotoGP racing, walking into some of these guys on the bikes, back it into the corners. That's what they're doing down here in turn number 1. They're literally coming through that kink to 1. They've already got the thing already rotated. It's a little bit of a rotation mid-corner, and they're kind of backing it in and then rotating it back on. Mike, how tough is that to control at what is the longest straightaway that these guys have ever been on?
Yeah, you're carrying a lot of speed, and you talked about it early in the week that you can only do so much with the grip. You can either turn, you can brake, you can accelerate. You can't do them all at the same time. Move for second place. That's going to be Jones is going to come under fire from, I believe, Massimino.
Yeah, Paulie Massimino dialing things in here right now, guys. He started back in 6th spot. He's on the move there in that machine, that BJR MDR entry. Paulie Massimino right there. He knows Chase Jones well, and they said, let's go. Let's go get him. And again, we've seen that out of a couple of guys over this week where they've done an aggressive signal to the driver in front. You do not need to run defensive. I'm not trying to take it away from you. Let's work together and push forward, because there's more guys that are still coming. Brandon Lemke just went purple from 6th. Race Liberenti strong as well, and there's a move to the inside as well, side by side coming through the corner through 1. Look who else is getting racy. Chase Hand in the fight.
Yeah, Massimino went for the move on Chase Jones, ran wide a little bit there. They both slowed each other down. That gives Rivera just a little bit more breathing space. The fast man is the number 910 Kart.
So Mike, here's the thing. Chase Hand got the call there from Paulie Massimino behind him, just go, and then he tries it. You don't listen to that guy for the rest of the race. You just tried to sell me a dummy. We're not working together. It's all bets are off now up front.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. You know that there's not going to be any working together, so now what you do is you have to time it or feint it or something like that, because you know that you can't play that card again.
Who's the fastest guy to watch right now? Brandon Lemke. I don't know where you are around the country. Merlin Nation. I know a lot of you from Wisconsin. This kid knows how to get the job done. A former SuperKarts USA X30 Junior champion. Lemke now into the senior years, and he is a guy that any time he gets into a race, kids can potentially win, especially in this KA100 category. He's on the move right now, running P5.
There are 12 karts within 3 seconds of the race leader. Before you get to your first real gap, you've got Calvo in 9th, Nate Cicero in 8th, Bonilla 7th, Liberante 6th, all still in touch. Then Lloyd is 10th. Behind Colin Lloyd, I'm just looking down there to see where we can see a P11, but then there's a big gap. You see Kardashian is the first kart out of the lead group, and he's got a comp kart behind him, but we got to move.
Here they come to the inside for the first time. Chase Jones to the inside. Book it. He's through. Chase Jones goes to P1. Rivera back to 2nd.
And now another move back to the inside. Rivera's going to try it again. Jones around the long way. He's got enough room. He's going to slot back in. Massimino now is going to make it to the inside of Rivera. Rivera's going to look over. Where can I go? Hand's going to get in there too. This is bad for turn 5.
We've talked a lot about this, that the way these corners kind of play out. If you get past to the inside of 1, you could get freight train and maybe lose more than 1. And indeed, that's what happened to Rivera. He's trying to limit the bleeding right now as a number of drivers are going by. Massimino right in there as well. Hand, Lemke now coming in. But Chase Jones is the leader here on the MPG Kart Republic, and away they go. Here's the push up the straightaway. Paulie Massimino again looks ahead and goes, let's go. I don't know if I can trust you anymore. You screwed me over the last time. I'm not going to open the door for you. 4 wide coming out. Here comes the scrap, and the 917 going backwards a little bit here. That's Chase Hand.
Yeah, at the back of this group, Peyton Phillips is also involved. Hodgson and Harley Keeble are approaching the top 15. Now, there are still guys, but look at the 2 drivers coming up behind this lead group. That would be Alex Kardashian leading the way, and then there's one of the Vasquez's behind them. They are closing in. All this battling, there is the group there. There's Kardashian, and there's Vasquez in the Nash Motorsport kart. I think that's a Nash Motorsport kart or is a Nella Racing kart. But then you've got Hodgson. Hodgson and Keeble are on the main straight with the leaders.
We are only to the halfway point, and this thing felt like it just got fired up hugely, because guess who else is right back in the middle of it? Where did Race Liberanti come from? I know he got a great start, but he is now up into the 3rd spot. Liberanti is unbelievably good right now. This is Hodgson and Keeble coming from deeper in the field. They're trying to get themselves up as much as they can. 2 very impressive drivers. The Brits trying to work together, but Mike, Race Liberanti may be the guy to watch right now.
We were talking about how far back can you be and still go for the win. Well, for starters, 15th, that's where Race Liberanti came from. Outside of turn number 2, a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, 2 drivers involved in an incident on the exit of turn number 2. One of them in the barriers. They're trying to move those cars out. We'll come back out to the fight happening on the racetrack right now. There are your leaders coming up the straightaway. Interesting thing for Chase Jones is if Race Liberanti can get up, there's a possibility that he's got himself a wingman. Both of those MPG drivers, they did not run other races earlier this year. They worked on their customers. This is their opportunity. They've got sponsors that have helped them come to this race. Another driver having some trouble coming out of 1, but there's the opportunity. That might have been Chase Hand, but there's an opportunity to have a couple of MPG guys up there. I don't know if I want to go wheel to wheel with Chase Jones and Race Liberanti.
On Wednesday, when it was super windy and drivers were trying to figure out the course, 2 guys that were really, really good linking up, the MPG guys of Jones and Liberanti, and it could happen here in just a couple of laps.
And the wind's starting to pick up a bit here trackside.
It is, and I think we've just seen Dalton Haynes pull into the pits to retire. He was one of the 2 drivers that collided coming out of turn number 2. But Chase Hand's issue, that has brought Hodgson and Keeble into play, and Harley Keeble is sitting behind Hodgson, acting as a wingman, and there's a move for 3rd position, so the MPG Motorsport duo have now got 2 karts between them.
That was Rivera making a move to the bottom there to get inside of Liberanti in turn number 1. I think Rivera obviously getting a feel for where they are right now. Look at this gaggle further back. They are really going at it coming out of 3 and 4. Everybody's scrapping. One driver getting rooted out to the side there. I believe that's outside. Is that Hodgson and Keeble getting the tail of that group?
Yes,
What
is.
group is that right now?
That's the group from 5th place. No, it's from about 8th place on back. So Hodgson is now up into the top 15 with Keeble right behind him. It's Aiden Rudolph, Nate Cicero, Frankie Mossman, Jesus Vasquez Jr., Donovan Bonilla, who we were battling for the lead a minute ago, down to 15th. There's the number 977 car on your screen. Leaders once again into turn number 1, 2, 4, 5 in a row, Rob.
Paulie Massimino has worked his way right onto the rear bumper once again. We talked about that. He and Chase Jones, they'll go over-under coming through turn number 4. This is that fight a little further back. We're picking up whether or not those guys can get themselves into the top 10, but nonetheless, Hodgson having a great run alongside Harley Keeble.
Back at the front, too, the driver who's been making some moves, it was Rivera. Rivera got by and is now into 3rd, had his personal best just a couple of laps ago before he made another pass. Rivera's got a late run car.
And he's got to get at it right now because we have a potential 2-driver breakaway. Thus far, Massimino, although he sold Jones the dummy a couple of laps ago, this time has been the good wingman, staying right with him coming down the straightaway. I'm sure he had a little look over the shoulder and said, hey, listen, we got a chance to break away a little bit here. This isn't lap 7 or 8 anymore. We're not trying to make things happen. This is us pulling away. They'll go lap 15 in the books when they get back to Aaron Likens. 5 laps to go this next time by. Do we get a 2-driver battle, or do we have Rivera, the young rookie senior, in the middle of the dice as well?
I think Rivera's been so quick all weekend. We're going to have a 3-car battle. And do you know something? We've been talking about these superstars. Oliver Calvo is doing it again. P7 for speed. For the Speed Concept team there, he's just quietly going about his business. He's got Phillips behind him, Kardashian and Lloyd now round out the top 10. Finally calming down there, but Race Liberanti trying to get a run with Rivera, the top 4, trying to break clear from Luque, Calvo, Lemke, Phillips, Kardashian and Lloyd. Then there's a bit of a gap now developing back to the next place drivers, led by by Fast Frankie Mossman, and finally then is Hodgson and Keeble.
I think the fight up front right now is going to get interesting if we get Race Liberanti where he needs to be. He's P4 right now, not quite within striking distance of Ernesto Rivera, but if he does get in there, this looks like it's going to be a 4-driver battle, because you got to go back up almost a full second to Fernando Luque, who now runs in the 5th spot ahead of Calvo, Lemke, Phillips, and Kardashian. That move forward for Lemke's kind of stalled a little bit. He's got Luque battling him, and we'll watch them roll onto the front straightaway once again. The Liberanti hoping to get the draft, but he's getting dropped a bit. Look at the guys lining up behind him, all 4. Calvo, Lemke, Luque, and Phillips all lining up across the line. 4 laps remain. Rivera going to go to the inside, book it. He goes back to P2, so Rivera into 2nd and move Massimino back to 3rd.
Chase Jones continues to lead under pressure. We're not seeing Chase defend too much yet. He's not leaving the door wide open, but he's certainly not covering his line. Race Liberanti now beginning to fade away a little bit in 3rd place, but it's Rivera, the new sensation in American karting this year. We're going to be hearing a lot more about this young man in the world of motorsport. And why are we looking at the front bumper of Race Liberanti's kart? Because it's got a bit of a dent in it.
He's actually pulled off. Liberanti's put his head in the air.
Yeah,
Mike?
So I've been watching him. He's been playing with the needles, trying. But the previous lap, he looked behind him. Something was amiss, I believe, in the motor. Maybe trying to get a little bit too much out of that KA. Up front, we got a new leader. Rivera to the front. It's not over yet behind him. Massimino and Jones right there. It's picking up.
Let's put the focus on the front 3 right now. It'll be 2 to go this next time by. Rivera decides he wants to go back up front. Chase Hand there as well. We've kind of seen these 3-driver battles happen over the last couple of the first 2 races, rather. We've got ourselves another one right now. Oliver Calvo now up into the 4th spot with the retirement of Race Liberanti. So that next group trying to chase them. They're close enough right now that if they start racing or defending too much, we may see Calvo and Lemke back into this thing. They'll put lap 18 in the books. Again, Rivera looks over the shoulder. Massimino goes side by side with Chase Jones. Look at the guys in the back there led by Luque. They're like, let's go, come on. Calvo wants it. Lemke, Phillips, Luque, all there, as well as is Kardashian.
It's going to be 8 drivers, I guarantee, by the end of this lap. And right now, in a train,
man.
It's already happened. It is a full-on war at the front here in KA Senior.
Don't count Oliver Calvo out. He swings wide going into turn number 3. Calvo, he gets the inside line. Jones gets squeezed wide. Put Oliver Calvo into P3. He has gone about his business all weekend. You don't need to lead every lap. You just need to lead the last one, and Calvo is there in 3rd.
And I'll tell you this, Oliver Calvo, no stranger to street circuits, a multi-time winner at the Streets of Lancaster Grand Prix. There's Chase Jones realizing it's go time. He's got the elbows up, and indeed Calvo in the middle of the fight. White flag flying, final lap at KA100 Senior. Hold on, folks, here we go. Rivera looking over the shoulder. Where does he go? Does Paulie Massimino come back and win yet another one here? Massimino to the bottom. Rivera's going to cover off. Way around the outside goes Chase Jones. He's going to throw to the 2nd. Jones goes back to P2, runs the rim around the outside. Down to the inside comes Rivera. He'll cover. Tight racing through to turn number 4. 2, 3 wide further back. Jones may be the only guy with a shot at Ernesto Rivera. Is it a victory for this young driver? 2 drivers off. Contact coming through 5. Through turn number 6 to 7. Rivera's hopping. He wants more. Do we see a full send here from Chase Jones? He does not do it. Coming through the corner, and it is clean and green. The winner at KA100 Senior, Ernesto Rivera. Rivera wins. Chase Jones 2nd. Massimino 3rd. Lemke 4th. Vasquez 5th. Calvo 6th. Mossman up into 7th. Plus 15 for Fast Frankie Mossman. Up to 50. Now listen, remember, we're not done yet with pushback bumpers.
No.
We don't know who. This is unofficial. But Mossman 7th, Colin Lloyd 8th, Kardashian 9th, and Fernando Luque in 10th. But Mike Smith, I'll tell you, Rivera pushed aggressively, got himself up front, and what a victory as he and Chase Jones sharing a handshake here at turn number 1.
Remember, Ernesto Rivera started first, fell back, stayed patient, started working his way back up. I think it was 5th at one time and didn't get too crazy. Remember, we were all hot and heavy for the first half, and we still had a whole lot of racing to go. Things calmed down, then little by little, Rivera showed he had the long run pace and was the guy to beat.
Yeah, and he made the right moves. He was there in the right time, was able to slide his way in, and he was able to stretch away at the end there. You look at the last couple of laps, right? He was the one that was able to pull away, even though he was pressured. It was some crazy, exciting racing through those last couple of laps. And listen, this is why KA100 Senior is one of the favorite races that we have every year here at the SuperNationals. It's so evenly matched. The racing so good. And again, Ernesto Rivera, look at he and Paulie Massimino sharing an embrace there as well. I love this at the end when the guys can sit there and chat about how great the racing was, because again, it was so clean. There was a couple little bit of pieces, but Henry, for the most part, super clean racing.
I mean, 11 karts went into turn number 6 together, and they were 4 wide, into turn 5 together. What a race.
So let's have a look at that pass right now for the race win from Ernesto Rivera down here in turn 1.
Right behind Chase Jones. Look, Chase Jones going in as hot as he can, but it crosses up, and that gave the opportunity to Ernesto. Ernesto with that perfect little slide program, and this is where it starts to go back in his favor. Jones doesn't quite have enough. A little cover for Ernesto, and then perfectly done right through here. This is where it all goes for him, because as soon as he crosses back over, the rest of the drivers start to get closer, and the fight is on.
Yeah, what a wild one there. Great run for Ernesto Rivera. We'll hope to get a couple interviews down on pit lane when we can. We will jump down to David Land, who's going to be standing by here momentarily, because it's a tremendous race right now. We just saw Ernesto Rivera with the win, and again, just waiting. Let's send it down right now to David Land on turn 1, not pit lane. All right, well,
Ernesto. Hey, Ernesto Rivera. What an extremely how'd you keep those boys behind you?
Yeah, the first laps, like the first 8 laps, I was leading. Then I fell back to 5th or 4th, I remember well. And then, yeah, I made my...
Yeah, I don't know if I saw a couple of big looks there on straightaway, but those guys were 3 and 4 wide behind you. You know, in that situation, we talked about it beginning of the weekend. Was it possible to block? Was it possible to hold guys off and do it cleanly? And it appears you did it. How did you do it?
Yeah, in one it was very difficult because you're going very, very, very fast. So you have to park it really good on the apex. And every time after we get out of one, I was looking out to the TV so to see where they were. But yeah, it was clean race and I had a lot of fun.
Provisional race winner, Ernesto SuperNat.
How about that from Ernesto Rivera? The heart of Mexico is strong, and he's got another chance to try and go on top of the boards from it further back in the Pro X30 field after a lot of speed this weekend. He's not the only one down standing by with David Land, though. What a race here in KA Senior, a barn burner from start to finish. Let's go down and chat with our top 3 finishers, the rest of them here who came up so close after what an amazing battle. Chase Jones standing by here. We'll let David hop on in and talk to one of the captains from the MPG Motorsports camp. Dave?
Yeah, Chase, just came up a little bit short there, but you ran so strong. What was the difference between you and Rivera today?
I mean, just positioning. He got to the lead at the right time. I tried my best to work with Paulie to try to get away, but I mean, just goes to show how good these guys are and all their teams. You know, the MPG Motorsports Kart Republic chassis, BBS engine power was on rails from practice 1, and I seriously didn't make a setup change as soon as we rolled it off the trailer. So I'm very proud of all the boys and the team back at home, you know, for supporting us. But Rivera's a great driver. He's going to go on and do big things. But, you know, very pleased with a podium and a 2nd place here at SuperNats. And thanks to all my sponsors, Applegate Seed House, Corey Simpson. You know, standing here for Corey is great. He gave me a shot at an entry, and I'm pleased to be able to take some hardware home.
A very humble second place. Let's try to grab Paulie Massimino here in just a second. Paulie, you really effort. You gave it your best effort there, Paulie. It looks like it just didn't work out for you. It looked like you guys were trying to coordinate to try to make an attack on Rivera. Why didn't it work out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our stuff all weekend was super, super fast in the KA. I feel like we've been one of the quickest. Got a little setback yesterday with blowing up the motor and warm-up. Able to come back, run up front. Rivera had a lot of pace, obviously a very talented driver. I just think we missed it, maybe a little bit on gearing. I think by the time I came out of the corner, they pulled me so much that by the time I got back to the end of the straightaway, it's the only place I could really catch them. And, you block into turn one, it makes it pretty difficult. But overall, really pleased with the weekend in KA. It's been a rough year for us, so this kind of feels good. Obviously, I wanted to win, but, tried to push with Chase. We just didn't have enough to keep Rivera away. But thank you to all the MDR, BJR boys, my dad, my parents, my girlfriend, her father, everybody that helps me, Offset, Next Set, Group A, and Twin Transmissions and BBS.
A great podium finish. All
Podium results: Rivera, Jones, Massimino, Calvo, Lloyd, top 5. After that.
Well, there you go here, as that's the last little bit getting set to go here, and from Paulie Massimino and Chase Jones. And super cool to hear the amount of respect that they had for Ernesto Rivera, the kid they call Checo. And I think the Checo name in a very big racing series coming to town next weekend might be around for a couple more decades. This kid is headed for big things again. This is a swan song in his highly decorated, very short, but highly decorated U.S. pro karting career before he gets set to move to Spain full-time in January and contest in a 2024 Spanish F4 championship. We're hopefully going to see Ernesto more on the scene, though. I talked with him earlier this year, and we are so blessed to hear that I believe he may be joining us for the SKUSA Winter Series and or the Florida Winter Tour as well. Of course, that kicks off in just 2 months' time. It's a short off season in the sport of American karting here, Mike Smith, when we get back underway in Homestead in January. But, man, would it be amazing to get treated to this super talented superstar in the making for a couple more races before he heads off.
Well, like you talked about the name Checo, and we may be listening to that for years to come. And I think, really, at the end of the day, you see a talent like this is exciting to think about what he could do in the future.
We have had, so I'm looking at the drivers going back there. Brandon Lemke in the 910 kart and Jesus Vasquez Jr. in the 977, who finished 4th and 5th. A post-race issue, possibly push-back bumper, and that will promote Calvo and I believe Frankie Mossman into the top 5.
Are we ready to rock here, guys?
One adjustment there, but Rob, you got it. I was going to take over, but you're the man.
Thanks,
Take it away.
All right, we're ready to get things underway here, folks, with the podium for the drivers here in the KA100 category. What a great run for the seniors. Let's start with the driver coming home today, P5, Colin Lloyd. His way up to 5th. Great drive for Colin today into the 5th position. Again, we talk about the fact we have to kind of wait till the end in terms of any pushbacks. I did some video review on this one as well. Colin Lloyd ends up moving into 5th after some penalties. Finishing in 2nd, Oliver Calvo in 4th, rather. Oliver Calvo, the Speed Concepts racing driver, P4 for Oliver. We talked about him through the race, quietly working his way forward, but he was big at the end. Finishing in 3rd, number 918, Paulie Massimino, P3. Massimino in 3rd. Front 3 drivers were joined by a bunch at the end. That's why things got so exciting. What a battle it was up front, folks. Finishing in the 2nd spot for MPG Motorsports. A round of applause for Chase Jones. Awesome drive for Chase to P2. That was a 20-lap battle there. So much fun to watch. For the driver who will stand on top of the podium, a junior driver all year long. And how about back-to-back SuperNationals? 1 wins, 1 last year in X30 Junior. He's a KA100 senior winner. For Rawlison Performance Group, the winner in KA100, Ernesto Rivera. What a poised and patient run up front there for Rivera. They had a great run, and that is your podium there. So impressive. Rivera, Jones, Massimino, Calvo, and Lloyd to cap it all off here. And again, 3 down, 6 still to come. Our KA100 category starting it off, junior, master, and senior. And did they ever put on a show? Exactly what we wanted up front. Not surprising with how good that was. Wrapping it up down here, as we said, from Victory Lane. They'll have the champagne to fly. But again, more racing still to come, guys. This is a lot of fun. Ernesto Rivera, the winner in KA100 Senior.
Yeah, what an awesome run here for Ernesto Rivera as the podiums continue for our third of 9 main events here. What an amazing day here. The wind picking up again a little bit, but beautiful weather. The sun is out. The track is hot. Henry, Mike, we have been treated to, wow, it feels like the bar keeps getting reset. Race after race after race, even better than the last one.
And you know something? We got 6 to go. For all those drivers in the next races that are still to go out, that are starting down the back, fear not, because in that last race, from 34th on the grid, Oliver Hodgson comes home 12th on the road, gaining a grand total of 22 places. James Overbeck up 15 places to 13th. Harley Keeble up 12 places to 14th place there. The champagne is flowing, and the temperature's only going to heat up even more.
How about that? Hey, look at them spraying Ernesto Rivera, the winner. This kid's got another race later today. Chase Jones, he could park it. He can take a swig. Enjoy yourself, Chaser. P2, he's done. The MPG ride in X30 Pro is breaking knees with the rest of these kids. They got to go back out again in those drenched suits, Mike.
Hey, if you're going to run up front and you feel like you're going to be on the podium, bring 2 suits.
How about that, man? 2 classes, 2 suits. Be ready. Keep your eyes on Ernesto Rivera.